been using that term for years, saying that's Soros's plan. Now that's in mainstream U.S. news, calling this a civil war. That is exactly what is beginning to unfold in this country. And we can't let them get away with this. And I'll tell you, here is the absolutely fabulous news that folks should be made aware of. All the polls, all the numbers, all the metrics show this indiscriminate shooting of people, this indiscriminate killing of innocent police officers, this absolutely, demonizing returning veterans, gun owners, Christians, conservatives, and these FBI reports written up by the Democratic Party and the Southern Poverty Law Center. This is only beginning to backfire on them, and the poll numbers show Donald Trump is rising. So people ask, why are they still activating these groups? Why won't Obama decry these groups? Why is he legitimizing it every time cops get killed, saying, well, you need to reform the cops? And Hillary says, hey, white people need to listen up. They're doing that to push it even bigger because they want to make it so big, so out of control, so bad that even though it wakes a lot of people up, it breaks local government's will, it breaks the military's will, it breaks Congress's will, the patriots that are there, and we just capitulate because there's burning cities and war in the streets and hundreds of being killed a day. It could easily come to that, and that's what the French government's saying. That's what the conservatives in government are saying. They're saying Hollande and others are trying to push a civil war. They're trying to poke and push and push and push until there's an uprising, and they're arresting people in France, Sweden, and Germany that just criticize open borders. That is outrageous. These are authoritarians. They're making their move. They think we're stupid, but we're not being caught flat-footed. We know their exact plan. We know their disinformation operation, and I'm here to tell them, you've really screwed the pooch, because now you have taken the police, the military, local government, and people in the federal government who are patriots and made them face just how diabolical you are, that this is a foreign multinational takeover, and you're not going to be able to put the genie back in the bottle. This is the beginning of the end for the globalist. And as we look out for TV viewers, give folks a shot, as I cover some headlines here, there is the RNC entrance. We are right across the street from the, what's the name of this place, dude? The Quicken Loans thing. I'm teleprompter free. I can't remember some of the stuff. Let's go over some of the headlines at Infowars.com. Crowds boo French Prime Minister. He's even worse than the president. At Nice Memorial, demand his resignation. He has come out and said, fascism and nationalists are our problem, and those that criticize Islam. They are testing to be basically dhimmis. That's what they call it in the Islamic system, like Bracken was talking about last week here on the show. They're testing to show you can rape us and we'll cover it up. You can kill us and we'll cover it up. It's why that top German minister got raped herself. 50-something-year-old woman, but attractive, by 5 Muslims, and she said, I covered it up because I'm politically correct and I'm proud of it. And she got caught by the police covering it up in Germany. She said, no, German men, blonde men raped me. I mean, this is crazy. So that's what this is about, because they want to show we're here to be captured. We want your Saudi Arabian money. Give it to us. And then they just retire to Switzerland or Luxembourg or somewhere else. They're there saying, see, we're good minions. We let you run over us with trucks. We let you bomb us and shoot us. We let you rape our ministers. You are God. That's what this is about. Crowd boos French PM at Nice Memorial. Demand his resignation. I mean, I kept wondering how Hollande and this other idiot could actually go to these funerals when they're the ones that opened the borders up and brought these folks in. It is absolutely, completely over the top. Now, again, that's what the program of putting radicals in these countries is about, is to make sure this destabilization accelerates. This is the deal Saudi Arabia gets for everything else it's been involved in. Meanwhile, we have the Baton Rouge killer shared photo on Twitter of cop being shot before he came and did it. And this is what we've always pointed out, is that we've got folks calling for killing people and then nothing's being done. Well, then that's really the fault of local grand juries and others, because I'm all for free speech 110%. But if I got up here on air with an audience, or I went to a Facebook channel and I said, we ought to go kill cops, then, I mean, I'm calling for organized crime. And if people call for killing me, okay, or who, whatever your free speech venue is, if people call for violence against you because you have a particular political view, that's the final phase of a takeover. So again, we're not giving into this intimidation. We're standing up against it. But if local grand juries don't start indicting all these people that are calling for this, it's not going to put a damper on more idiots who think they're really fighting some great jihad or think they're really fighting against the man to go out and kill more cops. And this is going to bring a civil emergency in. This is going to bring what they call basically martial law in. It'll be called a civil emergency. They've done that now in Europe. So I'm basically ranting about this because we saw, and I shot a video breaking this down, that the world has never been closer to world war. That's what mainline analysts are saying. We've got coups and counter coups in Turkey. Erdogan probably staging it against himself because his own plane was targeted and they didn't even blow it up, and people thought it was staged as an excuse for a crackdown. I mean, I guess if Emperor Palpatine did it in Episode 3 of Star Wars, I guess it can happen in real life. But no, I mean, actually, the Taiwan president got caught doing a fake coup on himself once as well. So we're not sure if this is fake yet. We've got the world economic system teetering on the verge of collapse. All these derivatives, bigger than 2007, 2008 coming due. We've got governments flooding their sovereign nations with unskilled, diseased populations. What is going on? What is the larger goal? We've never seen bigger destabilization programs in the West. The only countries I know of in the West that aren't part of a destabilization program are Japan and Australia. They actually have policies in place that are not allowing them to be destabilized. I mean, there's some things going on in Australia, but it's only Australia and it's only Japan. And of course, New Zealand to a certain extent. And notice more and more of the globalists have been moving to New Zealand and to Australia. We told you about that years ago. Now it's mainstream news. They're leaving Europe. They're leaving Israel. They're leaving the United States. They're even leaving London, saying it's not going to be safe in the future. Way before all of this happened, way before all of this began to unfold. So David Knight is going to be co-hosting throughout the 4 hours today. And we got Paul Watson coming up in the coming days. I'm going to be hosting most of the shows throughout the week. But David is going to be there with me. Obviously to bring in breaking news, bring in breaking analysis. Leanne McAdoo got a very powerful interview with former political prisoner Dinesh D'Souza, whose documentary 2016, America 2016, was the second highest seen documentary in world history. He was then shut up and put in prison for 9 months, is a political prisoner. He now has a film out that I haven't seen, but people say is like 5 times more hardcore. See, they radicalized him. Former Reagan speechwriter. He's headed up federal departments, folks. No criminal record, and he gave some campaign contributions, and they put him in jail. Now he's made this hardcore film. I couldn't go to the premiere last night because I got in too late, but Leanne was there. She's got the interview. We've got kind of a bottleneck with only one editor here who's doing a great job to upload all these big interviews we've got, all the breaking news and analysis. Now, speaking of Karl Rove, I almost felt silly making a big deal out of it, but I'm sitting there with my crew, and they're like, hey, there he is in Austin, flying out, to go confront him. I'm like, nah, I'm going to leave him alone. And then, because he's old news. He's defeated. We're going to skip this network break. And then I get on the plane, and he's there, snickering and giggling and doing everything. So we get off at Dallas to change planes and come to Cleveland. Sure enough, he's there. And so I go over to him, and I politely ask him some questions. And people have seen that video. It's gone viral. It's not really that big a deal. He just says, I'm not talking to you, and gets mad. And I bring up the fact that, he basically vacations with the Clintons, reportedly, and the Bushes love him, and that he takes the money that Republicans would use to win, and it goes nowhere. As Donald Trump said, you might as well throw it in the trash, to quote Trump in his tweets. This time he hadn't been successful going and getting all the Republican money, and then it just goes into some type of weird black hole. I mean, that's what people said, that it just isn't effectively used. But this is a guy who's known for just all sorts of really nasty stuff. And so he calls the police on me. The security comes. They say, no, if you ask him questions, that's fine. Just don't talk to him on the plane. So I go, okay, fine. And so, and this is just emblematic of this country and how bad the Republicans are, or the old line ones. We don't just have the Democrats on one side. We have the Republicans to deal with as well, always trying to take things over. But they've been defeated trying to block Trump so far. They've been defeated trying to gobble up and divert all the money into their super PACs. They've been defeated on many fronts. Karl Rove helped push the assault weapons ban again. I mean, I personally am sick of him. But then last night, we get off the plane. He's coming off the concourse. And I say, tell me about how you're history's actor. He told the New York Times and Washington Post, I control the future. No, the truth doesn't matter. We'll tell you whatever we want. You'll report it. The public will believe it. A very arrogant person. So I want to know from the guy that says my reality doesn't count and that he's the only empowered person in the world, that I don't count. And so I went and I talked to him very politely. He ignored me. And then I tapped him on the shoulder very nicely. I said, I'm a friend, Turd Blossom, because that's George W. Bush's nickname for him. And he got real mad about that. And the point is that I confronted him nicely, the way I'm going to give my speech today for those that sat there and thought that they're threats. And I'm not going to get into the threats because I really don't care. But the point is, I was thinking a month ago about not actually coming to Cleveland because I'm so busy with family stuff and doing other things. I was going to just send crew. But I'm tempted to even go to the DNC now because of threats. You know, I'm not going to sit here and give up my life and my free speech because a bunch of scum are trying to create a climate of fear in this country. And that's where they've miscalculated. People always think when I cover scary issues, they think that I'm doing that to scare people. No, I'm doing that to warn people, to motivate them, because from my perspective, if bad stuff's going on, I want to know about it. I want to be prepared for it. If my neighbor sees somebody breaking into my house and I'm in bed, I want them to call me. They're not fear-mongering. If they call and say, hey, somebody's in your garage, thank you. Or if my house is on fire. Or if a flood's coming, hey, or if it's going to freeze, hey, you're going to turn your faucets on. That's what good neighbors do, okay? And so that's why we're here. But it shows from their cowardly perspective, these globalists, they think killing 50-something cops in the last year or so, that's what's happened. They're shooting them all over. Most of the time they cover it up when a guy screams Allah Akbar in Philadelphia and shoots him in the head, or yells that in, California. I mean, it's happening like every 4 or 5 days. Now you're seeing, 5 dead here, 3 dead here, 2 dead here. So they can't cover it up. Just like all the newspapers, New York Times and everybody was saying, a madman with a truck kills people. They're still saying that. I was looking at all these delegates and folks still reading newspapers on the flight. All these old delegates that were big Karl Rove fans. Oh, yeah, I forgot to finish the Karl Rove story. So we get on, this is why I really confronted him, though. We get on the plane from Dallas to Cleveland after I just talked to him nicely, and he walks by and talks to some of these delegates, because I heard him talking to them. They said they were delegates, in front of me. And he goes, he's drunk. We ought to report him. He's a troublemaker. And I'm just sitting there, haven't even had a drink. I did a few minutes later. And, well, why not? Karl Rove's already claiming I am. And I'm sitting there, and he goes, yeah, we ought to report him. He's a troublemaker. Actually trying to get these old folks that look like to say something. And they were getting up and going to the bathroom in the flat and looking at me, and the woman and the man. I was just like, oh, my gosh. And so then Rove comes off, and I go to the baggage area and bring up those points about how he tell me how you control reality. Tell me how I don't count. Here's the truth. Karl Rove is a shadow of his former self. Karl Rove is done, in my view, being able, and the rest of the old neocons and rhino Republicans and all of you people, you're done. You're done. And the future is drudgereport.com. The future is Infowars.com. The future is places like Breitbart.com and DailyCaller.com. And look, here's the deal. Infowars isn't perfect. I know none of us are. I make mistakes all the time and not on purpose. Breitbart isn't perfect. Nobody's perfect. Drudge is pretty close because it's just all those great links. But so there's not a lot of mistakes he could make. He's kind of just linking to things he thinks is interesting. But the point is that we don't want to destroy America. We're not out to get the country. We want prosperity. We want freedom. We want people to come together. We're not the divisive ones pushing race. We're not the ones, pushing all this garbage. And clearly, George Soros and other arch criminals are the people that think they can manipulate us like a, bull with a red cape and the matador. And look, I admire bulls for their strength, but not for their intelligence. We're smarter than a bull. And quite frankly, I've had more black people on the streets of Cleveland come up and say they're listeners and they're awake than I've even had probably white people. So that's the truth, is that so many African Americans in this country are sick and tired of the division. They know they're being played. They actually know what's going on. It's so many white people that just kind of get scared, or actually then think all the black folks are out to get them or something, when the globalists are simply using that to create fear on both sides so they can be the referee. We have to transcend this and realize what's happening and understand the media is giving us a distorted view, in my research, from the reality of what's really going on. So again, it is more important than ever. You can see what we've been able to do with Infowars.com. You've seen what we've been able to build as a media organization that reaches tens of millions of people a week conservatively. I mean, gosh, it's like 10 million a week just on our own YouTube channel now. It is getting crazy. And then we've got all the other channels. I mean, when I see 28 million a week worldwide, that is a very conservative number. And it just shows that I'm not that good at what I do. It shows the rising tide of liberty is there, and that's why the power structure is panicking, why they're trying to act arrogant, why they're trying to act like they're invincible, because they are very close to a collapse horizon. They are very, 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 very close. And the fact that Hillary and Obama banned our flights, we just flew them the days before, and they're going to follow her around the campaign trail. The biggest exclusion zone ever in history for the entire event here and in Philadelphia at the DNC. People say, oh, well, see, you